Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi, Destiny 2 Nightfall. Nope, I didn't stutter. We're in Nightfall and we're playing Nightfall. And we've died a lot. This is the last encounter with the boss. You're going to go up this elevator. Nightfalls, I guess, are harder versions of the standard missions. I've done this mission once in my life. I got carried through it by some older people, higher level people. Maybe they were older. And now we're going through this. I'm the lowest geared of the three of us. And I'm also the dumbest. My build is a melee build. This is not a map for meleeing. And I'm a warlock. And so, yeah. So there's going to be turrets up here right away, right on us. So it's imperative that we get the turrets. Then we're going to try to go to the left behind that stanchion over there and then start beating on the boss. Boss is Huh? And the mechanic on Nightfall is, wow, last man standing and I got smoked. Sorry, everyone. Let's try this again, shall we? Okay, so there's three of us. Sloth Moods. Ultimate Shield 340. They're my fellow YouTubers that we play with on Destiny 2. And we are doing this Nightfall. I'm going to talk to you today about leadership. Right off, let's just start right at the beginning. And I hate to say this, might be controversial. Leaders are born, they're not made. That's just it. That's it. Managers, you can make managers. And what I want you to think about, Apple Corporation is a great... Oh, Jesus. Apple Corporation is a good thing. Maybe Steve Jobs was a leader. He inspired people. Maybe not good manager. Obviously wasn't. They had to call him the guy from Pepsi in the beginning. They kicked him out of the company. He came back. But you look at Apple under Tim Cook, who I would say is more of a manager. He might be a different kind of leader, not as in the forefront Steve Jobs, and you'd look at the valuation of the company. So can a leader be a good manager? They can, but it's very rare. So those are the people you read about, people that are good leaders. They can inspire people. And basically what you say is you can get people to run through a wall for you. And then to manage them. Right? A lot of leaders just chew people up and spit them out. Use them all up and spit them out. They might not be good leaders, but they have that thing where people continually follow them. I worked for a gentleman that was like that with some of the people. I'd work for him again if he started a business. I'd quit my job and go work for him. But he's going to use you up and spit you out. Not going to be able to do it to me because I'm tireless in that respect. But there's other people that he did it to, and they just never recovered. But he was an inspiring person. I've had people in the military. My first BM1 I ran into that was on my first ship, Sean Kurgan, who eventually passed away probably due to all the corrosive paints we were using, all that stuff. He was a magnificent leader. I would have done anything for that guy. Cared about the troops, cared about us, taught us, instilled excellence in us. Was a good manager. Roxy, bad leader, bad follower. You're not the leader. Macy, who you never hear me talk about, is the leader of the pack here. Macy and Pink. Pink's the overall leader. He's the cat. And, of course, the dogs could kill him, but there's just something when they're in the house that they don't. But anyways. So where does that leave? Is it a negative if I'm not a leader? Is it a negative thing if I'm not Ronan, I'm not a leader, but I'm a great manager? No, because organizations run on management. So that's what sergeants are. You know, sometimes you might have a charismatic top enlisted person or an officer that kind of people fall behind. But you need someone that's going to manage the day-to-day, make sure the food's there, supplies are there, people are taking time off, all that kind of stuff, the management of things. The correct duty lists, or make the good job shifts where everyone gets a chance. A bad manager makes you not want to work at a job. Can you be a better manager? Yes. Here's a first secret of being a good manager. Your job is to make the people that work for you successful. That's what your job is. You're automatically going to get the credit. If you have a manager that takes credit for you doing stuff, they're not a good manager, nor are they a good leader. They are a scumbag. A manager should remove obstacles for you. A manager should acknowledge the people that works for them. This isn't leadership now, right? Anyone can do this. But Ronan, I want to be a leader. Do you inspire people? When you're walking down the street, do people naturally come up and talk to you? If you're in a pool, do people naturally gravitate towards you for no reason? You're not talking to them, you're not doing anything. There's just something about you. It's called charisma, right? Are you charismatic? Not everyone's a leader. Very few people are good managers and good leaders, but you can learn to be a manager. So what does it say about how good that leader is? They know they're a leader, but they're too lazy to become a good manager on top of it, or they're too egotistical to become a good manager on top of it. Because the deaths. And the reason I'm talking about leadership in this video is we talked about it here. We're brand new acquaintances. We're brand new friends. None of us want to step on the other's toes. And sloth, like a good high emotional, you've heard of IQ, there's EQ, emotional quotient. High EQ asking, hey, I don't want to be too bossy. Nope, you're not being too bossy. He's always checking. As we got in here, he said, is there anything we can do different? And so there's room, and so I will start saying, I'm not leading, I'm just making suggestions. I'd say at this point, Sloth's still my leader, but he's making room where I can make suggestions. He's the one that picked this thing. I'd follow this guy and do whatever. It doesn't feel like I'm working for him. It feels like I'm on a team because he asked my opinion. That's what leaders do. I'm following them to this thing. I'm following them into PvP. Same thing with Ultimate. And so, what characteristics of leadership do you value? How would you want to be led? Where you would give 110%. My son asked me recently, he started a new job, why would you ever work overtime and you didn't get paid for it? And I laughed. Because I was like, that's the only way you get ahead. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put in the work, it doesn't matter. You could be a leader, but if you always take advantage of people, pretty soon you use up all of that. No one's going to follow you. Got to be able to follow first. You always have to be able to follow. I don't care if you're General Schwarzkopf after Desert Storm and you're super successful. You get out of the military world and you go into a new thing. You got to follow. You just, because you're going to see what your troops are seeing. So you're going to be able to empathize with them and say, okay, yep, I get it. If someone's a good leader, you don't mind following them. But, you know, you think about just the one word, entitled. And what entitled basically means, entitled. You have a title. You're entitled. So you already have a title, which goes back to a classing. In America, we pretend that we don't have a class. And that's kind of what we railed against in the beginning. But when someone's entitled, that means they have their position. How did people get titles back in the Middle Ages? They were born into it. Not out of merit, they were born into it. So the connotation on the word entitled is very negative. This is a delicate thing, but I'm going to say there's an importance of having a title when you get a promotion, but the first thing you're thinking about is the accoutrements of the job. The new business card, the corner office desk, the better chair, the whatever it is. The people below you see that. They know what kind of leader you are. You're not a leader. Leadership is service to the people that work for you. Management is removing obstacles for the people that work for you so they can be successful. Man or woman, he, she, they, whatever you are, the people that work for you, we all know, your bosses know they put you in charge. Are you so insecure that you got to beat down the people below you? No, they already know you're in charge. Make them successful. You become a better leader, a better manager. Just simple as that. And that's why I'm talking about that in this game. The person that's leading us, the person we're following, asks our opinion, asks what we think. You follow, you run through a wall for those people. He better arrest me once in a while too. And he does. Always giving hints on how to be better, does it in a way where it never feels like criticism. Same thing with Ultimate. You couldn't run with two better people in a game. Very helpful. Will die trying to res you, literally. And with me on your team, you're going to get all the chances to prove that you want. We eventually figure out the mechanic. The mechanic is the guy has three. Destiny always has this mechanic. The person has 3 segments of life. After the first segment, you're going to have to kill his lieutenants. It will drop something. Something will happen. Now I can get the second segment down. Repeat. Okay, I get the third segment down. Now I finish him off. That's what's nice about the game. You understand that mechanic now. We got to get these little balls and put them in those little things, and it releases these other people to help us. We were just trying to do this without any help because that's how badass we are. But apparently Nightfall is harder than normal. It's not really. Because if you have the right strategy, everything is easy. We don't know what we're doing. We've all talked about it in videos to each other, what the strategy is, but we never got to play with each other. And so now, right, the videos that we have seen, the statements we've said, we talk to each other enough where we challenge each other in a safe atmosphere where it doesn't hurt that someone says, well, I don't agree with you. And I get excited because I like that kind of intellectual stimulation. I just try to keep it on a 3 though, because I really enjoy this. Because when those guys question me about my tactics, it makes me look at my tactics. I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a good thing. They're trying to help to make me better. Because this is just a game, and we're trying to have fun. And why are you playing the game? So, aside from that, I die all the time. And I'm dying a lot because I have 97 melee and not my 97 in my resilience, which would make me a little more resilient. And I'm using Strand, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I just suck. So partly, my problem's always going to be that I suck. But leadership's an important thing. Roxy. I see it with the animals in my house. You can see the hierarchy. You can see who tries to go first, who always goes first, who always leads. I have another cat, Blue. You hardly hear me talk about Blue. Blue looks like a lion. Pink looks like a tiger. Macy is a shepherd pit bull mix, and Caesar's like a Bradford, one of those kind of, like not a bulldog, but he has a big head, like a pit bull bulldog. And Roxy's a little poodle, miniature poodle, and maybe something else that's yappy. So they all have this thing, but Macy's the leader. She's the oldest female. This is funny. I apologize, YouTube. Send your kids. Turn off the sound. You're going to have to listen to it alone. Spoiler alert. Sometimes Macy, the female dog, who is fixed, will mount and hump Caesar, the younger male dog who still has his testicles. She will hump him, right? Because she's exerting her dominance over him for as long as she can. He doesn't want it to happen. He's not submissive. They fight and argue and do all that stuff when they're playing, and he challenges her, and she always rises to the challenge. You can see the leadership wherever you want to look for it. Some people are leaders, some people aren't. Doesn't mean that Caesar's not a leader, but he's following Macy. What does he do when Macy's not there? Then he tries to lead. So I'd like you to think about that. I'd like you to think about what you like in leadership. Are you a leader? Are you a person that are you an informal leader? So I started this off, I was in the Coast Guard. There's 5 seamen, that's E3s or E2s in the deck department. And I was the junior person. And I was never going to get higher than Doc because Doc was their senior. He just had a lot of position power. He was waiting to go to Marine Science Technician School, MST school. And Steve Payne was a guy I went to boot camp with. We happened to go to the same ship. He was older than me. He had ROTC or some kind of stuff. He was more military than me. I just was never going to be in charge on that boat. And I was never going to be an informal leader because I was junior in rank and junior in experience. And I'd come from college where I thought I was hot shit. But I wasn't. So, am I dead again? God bless it. So, what happened? I went to the next ship. It was the same exact ship. It's built out of, I knew the ship inside and out. It was a brand new ship. We were plank owners. And I led on that ship. I was an informal leader, like an MFer. And then when I made my rank, I went to electronics school, quit. That's a story where the guy said I'd always be a toilet cleaner. The next 2 ships I went to, I was an informal leader. They would have me do some scandalous shit. And I didn't mind doing it. And then went to a small boat station, huge informal leader. I started as a BM3, a BM2. I started getting into recognized positions of leadership as I became a petty officer. And I wasn't in high school. I was like an informal leader. People would kind of gravitate toward me a little bit. But I was too scared of myself, too unsure of I was just too shy. But anyways, leadership, it's important, but it's not everything. Being a good manager, you can learn to do that. You should learn how to be a good manager. You should put people in front of you. You should make your employees, your charges better. If you work at nothing but making your charges better, guess what? You'll be a super successful manager. This is Ronan Kazi signing off. Thanks again, YouTube.